Are you guys ready? Monique wanted me to ask you that. We're about to embark on a bone-chilling journey to the most haunted, the most terrifying, the most paranormally active places on Earth. Monique and I, we thrive on this, you know? We're drawn to these locations, compelled to investigate the darkness. Prepare for chills as we explore 10 terrifying locations where eerie history and haunting architecture create an unsettling atmosphere. From medieval towers soaked in the blood of queens to abandoned asylums echoing with the screams of tortured souls, we're diving headfirst into the unknown. These spine-tingling destinations are perfect for a ghostly adventure or a fright-filled Halloween getaway. So buckle up and get ready, because where we're going you might not want to be alone in the dark, surrounded by, well, you'll see, 7. We're kicking off our journey in London at the infamous Tower of London. This place oozes history, and I'm not talking about the good kind. For over 1,000 years, the tower served as a royal prison, a place of torture and execution ground for some of history's most famous figures. Within these walls, 3 queens of England were executed, including Anne Boleyn, wife of Henry VIII. They say her restless spirit walks the grounds, searching for her lost love. The tower is practically a who's who of historical ghosts. You've got the young princes murdered in their sleep, their childish laughter echoing through the halls, and then there's Sir Walter Raleigh. His presence felt strongly in the room where he was imprisoned for 13 years. The stones themselves seemed to cry out with the anguish of those who suffered and died within the tower's walls. This isn't just a tourist trap, folks. This is a breeding ground for paranormal activity, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. We've investigated this place, and let me tell you, the residual energy is off the charts. So if you're looking for a true paranormal experience, the Tower of London is where you need to be. Hold your breath and brace yourselves, because we're venturing deep beneath the bustling streets of Paris, into the chilling depths of the catacombs. Imagine this. Miles upon miles of tunnels, but instead of darkness, you're surrounded by the skeletal remains of over 6 million Parisians. This isn't your average graveyard, folks. This is a labyrinth of death, a subterranean ossuary that's both fascinating and terrifying. The bones are stacked, arranged in macabre displays, skulls staring back at you from every direction. Some say the spirits of those interred here still wander the tunnels, lost and confused in the afterlife. The air down here is thick with the weight of death, the silence broken only by the sound of your own heartbeat. Monique and I, we've been down there. And let me tell you, it's an experience that stays with you. We've heard whispers down there, disembodied voices echoing through the tunnels. The catacombs are a stark reminder of our own mortality, a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs in the most unsettling way. So, if you're brave enough to face the darkness, the catacombs of Paris await. Our next stop takes us to the United States, to a place where silence is deafening and shadows hold secrets. Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, once the most expensive and technologically advanced prison in the world, now stands abandoned, a decaying monument to punishment and despair. This place housed some of America's most notorious criminals. Al Capone did time here, but it's the stories of the unseen that make Eastern State truly terrifying. Walk down cell block 12, where prisoners were kept in solitary confinement, and you can almost hear the echoes of their madness, the whispers of their torment. The guards here have countless stories of unexplained occurrences, of cell doors slamming shut on their own, disembodied voices echoing through the empty halls. Monique and I, we've investigated Eastern State, and let me tell you, it's one of the most active locations we've ever encountered. So if you're looking for a true test of your courage, Eastern State Penitentiary is waiting. Chapter 4. Aokigahara Forest, the Silence of Lost Souls. At the base of Mount Fuji in Japan lies a place shrouded in sorrow and mystery. This is Aokigahara, the Sea of Trees, a deceptively beautiful forest with a dark secret. Known as the Suicide Forest, Aokigahara has a haunting reputation, a place where hundreds have gone to end their lives. The energy here is different from the other locations we've explored. It's not aggressive, not overtly malevolent, but it's heavy, suffocating almost, with a palpable sense of sadness. The very air seems to hum with the sorrow of lost souls, the weight of their despair clinging to the trees. The forest itself is disorienting, the dense canopy blocking out the sun, creating an eerie twilight even in the middle of the day. They say the spirits of those who died here still wander the forest, trapped between this world and the next. Monique and I, we felt it too, that overwhelming sense of sadness, the feeling of being watched, of not being alone. So, if you're drawn to the mysteries of life and death, Aokigahara awaits. Chapter 5. Pavia Island, the Forbidden Isle of Souls. Off the coast of Venice lies an island shrouded in darkness and fear. This is Pavia, an island with a chilling history. During the Black Death, plague victims were quarantined here. Later it became a mental asylum with unspeakable experiments. Now abandoned, its buildings are crumbling, reclaimed by nature. Locals whisper tales of tormented souls and lingering darkness. If you're drawn to the forbidden, Pavia awaits. Chapter 6. The Stanley Hotel, where inspiration turns sinister. Nestled amidst the breathtaking beauty of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, stands a place where grandeur and terror collide. The Stanley Hotel, with its sprawling architecture and breathtaking views, might seem like an idyllic getaway, but beneath its opulent facade lies a dark heart, a history steeped in paranormal activity that inspired Stephen King's iconic novel, The Shining. Walk the halls of this grand hotel, and you can almost hear the ghostly laughter of children, the phantom melodies of a piano played by unseen hands. Room 217, the very room that terrified Stephen King, is said to be a hotbed of paranormal activity. Guests have reported cold spots, disembodied voices, and the unsettling feeling of being watched. Monique and I, we spent a night in the Stanley, and let me tell you, it was one of the most unsettling experiences of our lives. We heard children laughing in the hallway outside our room in the dead of night. The Stanley Hotel is a place where the line between fact and fiction blurs, where the stories that inspired a horror masterpiece seem to bleed into reality. So, if you're brave enough to face your fears, the Stanley Hotel awaits. Chapter 7. The Ancient Ram Inn, where evil seeks refuge. In the heart of Gloucestershire, England, stands a building that has borne witness to centuries of darkness. The Ancient Ram Inn, dating back to the 12th century, is more than just an old pub. It's a portal to the past, a place where the veil between our world and the next is thin and frayed. Step inside, and you're immediately hit with a wave of oppressive energy, a feeling that something ancient and malevolent resides within these walls. The air is thick with the weight of history, the stories of those who lived, died, and perhaps never left this ancient inn. It's said that the Ram Inn sits on a pagan burial ground, a place of ancient rituals and sacrifices. Some believe it's a conduit for dark forces, a magnet for paranormal activity that defies explanation. Guests have reported being touched by unseen hands, hearing disembodied voices whispering their names, and witnessing objects moving on their own. Monique and I, we investigated the Ancient Ram Inn, and let me tell you, it was one of our most terrifying investigations. The energy there was palpable, dark and heavy, like a living entity. So, if you're looking for a true test of your courage, the Ancient Ram Inn awaits. Chapter 8. Chateau de Brissac, the Green Lady's Lament. We journey now to the Loire Valley in France, to a magnificent chateau that harbors a tragic secret. Chateau de Brissac, with its towering spires and sprawling gardens, might seem like a fairy tale castle, but behind its beauty lies a chilling tale of betrayal, murder, and the restless spirit of a woman scorned. They call her the Green Lady, a tragic figure from the 15th century. Legend has it that she was the mistress of the lord of the chateau, brutally murdered by his jealous wife when their affair was discovered. Now her anguished spirit is said to roam the halls, her mournful cries echoing through the centuries. Guests have reported seeing a woman in a green dress wandering the halls, her face contorted in a silent scream. Monique and I, we investigated Chateau de Brissac, and we were drawn to the Green Lady's story. We felt a profound sadness within the castle walls, a sense of longing and despair that was almost overwhelming. So, if you're drawn to the tragic and the mysterious, Chateau de Brissac awaits. The Banff Springs Hotel, where luxury meets the afterlife. Deep within the Canadian Rockies stands a hotel as grand as the mountains themselves. Beneath its opulent facade lies a history steeped in mystery and loss. Walk the halls, and you might brush shoulders with more than just the living. The Banff Springs is home to resident ghosts with tragic tales. A young bride, heartbroken, took her own life within the hotel walls. She can still be seen, a spectral figure in a flowing white gown. And then there's Sam Macaulay, a former bellman, still fulfilling his duties. Guests report encountering a friendly man in an old-fashioned uniform. The Banff Springs awaits for an unforgettable experience. Chapter 10. The Myrtles Plantation, where tragedy lingers. Our final destination takes us deep into the heart of Louisiana, to a place where history and horror intertwine. The Myrtles Plantation, with its antebellum architecture and moss-draped oaks, might seem picturesque, but beneath its charming exterior lies a dark and tragic past, a legacy of slavery, murder, and restless spirits. Built in 1796, the Myrtles Plantation has borne witness to countless tragedies, each one leaving an indelible mark on its very foundation. It's said that at least 10 murders have occurred within its walls, each victim adding to the plantation's already heavy atmosphere. One of the most famous ghosts is Chloe, a slave who, legend has it, was hanged for poisoning the plantation owner's family. She's often seen wearing a green turban, her eyes reflecting the pain and anger of her untimely demise. Guests have reported seeing her reflection in mirrors, feeling her presence in their rooms, and hearing the rustle of her skirts as she glides through the halls. Monique and we've investigated the Myrtles Plantation, and the energy there is palpable, a heavy blanket of sadness and despair. So, if you're drawn to the mysterious and the macabre, the Myrtles Plantation awaits. So, there you have it, guys. 10 of the most terrifying, the most haunted, the most paranormally active places on Earth. These places are not just steeped in history, they're wrapped in chilling tales that continue to terrify visitors to this day. We've investigated these locations, Monique and and let me tell you, these stories, they're not just legends. We've seen things, heard things, felt things that defy explanation. If you're brave enough, if you're drawn to the darkness, then maybe, just maybe, you'll want to add these destinations to your travel list. But be warned, you might be venturing into something you can't handle. And hey, if you're as fascinated by the paranormal as Monique and I are, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We're always investigating, always pushing the boundaries, always seeking out the truth that lies hidden in the shadows. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and for the love of all that is holy, stay safe.